A sudden catastrophe occurred when a brilliant green beam of light emerged from the sky, turning all humans into deaf stone statues. Let's explore what happened before the disaster and discover the fate of humanity. During high school, Senku was a chemistry enthusiast and a scientific experimenter. Alongside him was Taiju, a physically strong student who finally mustered the courage to confess his feelings to Yuzuriha and sought Senku's help in this matter. Of course, being a chemistry enthusiast, Senku created a compound that increased male arousal hormones, and Taiju, in a desperate attempt, broke it. He went to meet Yuzuriha under the camphor tree to express his feelings towards her, while Senku stood by the window. Meanwhile, Taiju, deeply in love with Yuzuriha, attempted to confess his love to her. A bright light from the sky, a rapid green beam resembling an explosion, spread across the earth. Taiju tried to shield Yuzuriha from the beam, but to no avail. The green light turned every human on Earth into stone, leaving behind traffic accidents and disasters. Humans barely survived, as the petrification became a challenge for survival. Staying conscious meant staying alive, and losing consciousness meant inevitable death. Taiju clung to life with the strength of love, promising himself that he would confess his feelings to Yuzuriha, no matter the cost. After years, or perhaps centuries, in a cave, thanks to a strange liquid, the stone began to crack. Taiju shouted with joy as he wandered through the forest in search of the camphor tree, sometimes collecting petrified statues, and at other times, reliving memories with Yuzuriha. Finally, he found the camphor tree, and fortunately, Yuzuriha was near it, entwined with its roots. Overjoyed, Taiju confessed his love to her, spanning hundreds or even thousands of years that had passed. Taiju noticed an inscription on the tree as he approached Yuzuriha, which read, "Follow the river, O colossal fool. It's Senku." Taiju, overjoyed. He wants to hug Senku insanely, even though he is completely naked. Through Senku, Taiju discovered that they had been fossilized for 3,700 years, counting the seconds throughout that time. Senku woke up 6 months earlier and began rebuilding the kingdom of science, reconstructing civilization from scratch. He gathered materials from nature for his scientific experiments, and crafted primitive weapons for self-defense. The combination of intellect and muscle formed a powerful duo for the restoration of civilization. Finding an explanation for the petrification and the revival of humans, including Yuzuriha, Senku and Taiju returned to the cave where Taiju was revived by chance. It is nitric acid derived from bat guano fertilizer. It is the miraculous liquid. Of course, Taiju, pretending to be the fool, claims that he knows it. Senku began his experiments using nitric acid to remove petrification, but without success. An idea crossed his mind to produce alcohol and combine it with nitric acid, which gives us nitrile, solution for industrial etching. Alcohol, ha! Taiju remembered that during his search tour, he found many grape trees. Winemaking was not far off, even though it is considered a crime in our time, but it is an essential solution in chemistry. After 3 weeks, wine was acquired. Got it. To extract alcohol, Senku performed a distillation process. However, in scientific experiments, failure is sometimes inevitable. After a period of experiments and strong determination, the duo managed to obtain the petrification removal liquid, the miraculous liquid. Woohoo! We did it! In science, everything can be explained. Therefore, the laws governing those things can be found. This is the power of science. I am excited, guys, to continue the story. Senku asked Taiju to choose the first person he wanted to revive. Senku knew exactly who that person was. It was Yuzuriha. And finally, the promised moment arrived. Now, it was Taiju's turn, the hero, to bring Yuzuriha back to life. However, there was a catch. Yuzuriha was completely naked. She can't be revived naked. Senku doesn't get much. So Taiju decided to carry her home to dress her in some clothes. Suddenly, a lion appeared from among the trees. The kings of the jungle were now free from the zoo after the petrification. They were now at the top of the food chain. Taiju threw Yuzuriha to Senku to escape with her, but Senku rejected the idea entirely. He believed that success in rebuilding civilization required both intellectual strength and endurance. Taiju remembered his discovery of the statue of the strongest high school student, Shishio Tsukasa. Upon the petrification cracking, Tsukasa realized the situation and managed to defeat the lion and fend off the others. They had revived the strongest fighter ever. However, Senku was worried about his absolute strength. No one could stop him. Tsukasa asked for a knife so that the lion's meat wouldn't go to waste. Some virtues were revealed. After the return home, Tsukasa got to know Taiju and Senku better. Finally, the problem of lack of meat was resolved, thanks to Tsukasa. With their bellies full, Senku decided on the next step, creating calcium carbonate. They would extract it from seashells, was useful for refining Taiju's beard. After grinding the shells into powder, they obtained the carbonate. There were 4 uses for it: agriculture, to improve soil by removing hydrogen impurities, construction by mixing it with sand, and burning them to create cement, soap by extracting sodium carbonate from seaweed and mixing it with oil, and that is to protect us from germs and diseases. Tsukasa was surprised by Senku's intelligence and praised him for his cleverness. However, Senku was not at ease at all. Of course, you might wonder and be puzzled because I did not mention the 4th use. Don't worry, Taiju also wondered about this matter. But Senku denied it and did not tell them about the 4th use. Remember this, as it's related to the story. Tsukasa recalled his painful past of being attacked while collecting shells from the sea for a necklace for his sick sister before her surgery. This incident fueled his anger, and he broke one of the petrified individuals. He expressed his refusal to revive criminals and corrupt elders because they would ruin the world, considering it an opportunity to purify humanity. Senku, being a technology enthusiast, disagreed entirely because he believed he could save humanity as a whole using the power of science. It seems things won't go smoothly along these lines, will they? Tsukasa is a kind young man, but he is also a killer. The idiot Taiju talked about the depetrification fluid in front of Tsukasa and exposed it. So, Senkos's plan to hide the depetrification fluid from Tsukasa failed, so Senku told Tsukasa where the nitric acid was. But he didn't told him about recipe. So Senku and Taiju can restore Yuzuriha using depetrification fluid. Taiju informed Yuzuriha about what he would say to her when they met thousands of years ago. Senku and Taiju versus Tsukasa. Senku uses her secret weapon, and Taiju attacks Tsukasa, but Tsukasa managed to deter their attack. Tsukasa left after Taiju lost consciousness. Senku woke Taiju up. Therefore, Senku's plan is to manufacture scientific weapons without Tsukasa's knowledge. Tsukasa anticipates this because he noticed that Senku concealed the 4th use of potassium carbonate, thinking that Tsukasa posed a threat. This implies that the 4th use is for creating a scientific weapon. Senku gathered the necessary materials to make gunpowder. 3 essential components for making gunpowder. The first component is sulfur, obtainable from a hot spring. The second component is charcoal, obtainable by burning wood. Finally, the third and most challenging component, potassium nitrate, obtained through nitric acid. Then, he mixed everything, adding a bit of glucose from grapes to increase strength. The robot Senku tells you that the recipe is legitimate and real, so don't hesitate to try it. Finally, they grind it to solidify it. Of course, they leave this task to Taiju, the strength expert. Senku completely overlooked that iron sulfide peptides are present in the mixture. This caused a large explosion when Taiju struck it with a stone. However, the experiment succeeded, and gunpowder was acquired. This is enough for a deal with Tsukasa, because Tsukasa is someone who accepts negotiation. The advantage goes to the scientific team for having gunpowder. Both sides have alternative plans in case negotiations fail. Unexpectedly, a smoke signal appeared in the forest. It is clear that it is a response to the explosion caused by the gunpowder. This adds excitement, indicating that there is another person in this stone world. To confirm Senku's presence to this person, they must launch another smoke signal. But this will reveal their location to Tsukasa. Senku hesitates between choosing safety or choosing the future. But he chooses the future and gives more smoke signals. While Senku and the others light fires, Tsukasa arrives. He takes Yuzuriha as a hostage. He tells Senku that he doesn't mind staining his hands to prevent the revival of corrupt individuals who will demand their acquired rights. This means that Senku must be removed. But before that, he asks for the revival fluid recipe. Senku pretends not to care about what will happen to Yuzuriha. But Tsukasa refuses negotiations and cuts Yuzuriha's hair as a threat. Tsukasa tells him that he made a mistake because he revived Yuzuriha for Taiju. This indicates that Yuzuriha is precious to Senku. Thus, the advantage goes to Tsukasa. Yuzuriha is ready to sacrifice herself for the future of the world. But Senku realizes that Tsukasa will kill them all if he doesn't tell him. So he gives him the revival fluid recipe and the locations and proportions of its components. Thus, Tsukasa has no reason to keep Senku alive. But they succeeded in delivering the message to the person in the forest. Tsukasa offers Senku to give up science in exchange for his life. This sparks Senku's passion for science and scientific experiments since childhood and Taiju's assistance. Of course, leaving science is 10 billion times out of the question for Senku. Tsukasa decides to kill him. Senku asks him to kill him with one blow to avoid suffering, signaling the method by neck snapping. So Tsukasa decides to crush Senku's cervical nerve, leading to unconsciousness and then death. Then he fulfills his promise by ending Senku's life with a single blow. What will happen after Senku's loss? And how will Taiju react? Who is the mysterious person in the forest? This is what you will discover in the next part. If you enjoyed this anime recap and want more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support, guys. Until next time, happy watching.